Hey guys, what is going on? If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and like for more content like this. Today, I am going to be reviewing a fishing pole that I found at Walmart, but first I'm going to tell the story of how I found it. So I was going into Walmart, and I was looking for a rod to buy, and I came across this $20 Ozark Trail grit stick spinning rod. And so I looked at it for a second, and it was only $20, and I was like, well darn, this looks like an ugly stick. So then I go over there and look at the ugly sticks, and it is an ugly stick, but it's just a little bit cheaper of one. So I thought that I would buy it and, try it out, see if it was any good. And so far, I like it. And I've used this thing like twice already. And I'm going to be comparing it to my ugly stick. They look about the same in length when you pair them up to each other. So the first test is we're going to be using some weights. And so this right here is just a regular Sea Striker 1.5 ounce weight, I believe. Could be 2 ounce, but I'm pretty sure it's 1.5. And so basically we're going to be seeing which one bends more when you sit it at a certain angle. So let me just get that set up here really quick. And you guys will notice that one of these rods has a different weight, but is equal to the same exact amount of weight. So as I'm getting this set up, we're going to move this, that. Okay. So, this is what they look like with the weights. And as you guys can see, they are both doing about the same in bend-wise. As you can see, I propped them up on a chair. So I don't really see too much difference of a bend in there. So now we're going to add on a little bit more weight to it. And we're going to do that by using some screwdrivers. So we can just hook these screwdrivers on like that. I can obviously tell that the grit stick is struggling a little bit adding on that screwdriver. Alright, so looks like we're struggling a little bit. Give me 1 second and we will get this pulled up. Alright, so basically what I'm going to do is, hopefully you guys can see that, but the grit stick is bending more. The grit stick is bending way more with that extra screwdriver on. Whereas this one is still bending, but not quite as much, because see, like, I have them about to the same exact point. And it looks like the grit stick is giving out just a little bit. Now, that does not make it a bad rod. That just means that it's not really meant for as heavy a duty as an ugly stick. So, that right there is our second weight test. And now, for the next, we are going to add 2 screwdrivers onto it. Well, at least try to. Get that. And as you can see, this one right here has a orange tip, and the ugly stick has a white tip. So a little bit different, but pretty similar as well. Let me figure out here how we are gonna get this screwdriver on. We're going to do that just like this. And this right here also has that little 1.5 ounce weight put onto it. And from what it looks like, it's struggling. So, yeah. Now the rod is holding up pretty good. The handle's not really bending. But we are getting a little bit weaker of a hold. Try and reel it up some. There we go. So as you can see, the whole entire rod is bending right now. Like, the bend stops about here. So definitely a big difference in the rod, but in strength wise, there is no difference. But this one has a different action, and this one right here is more for like light fishing, like bass and stuff like that. Now you could use this on a catfish, but you can't really like reel them in fast. Like, you kind of gotta like you can't really go in and like just yank it all the way back, or else it'll bend too much and it could snap. Now this reel holds up very, very good, and it's a very, very quiet reel. And since this combo right here only costs $20, I'm pretty sure that it's only like about a, probably like an $8 reel that they put on it. But it's pretty good, I actually like it. So yeah, that's the whole entire rod bend right there. Now we're going to see if we could switch that over to the ugly stick, and we'll see how that one reacts as 2 screwdrivers. There we go. Okay, so as we can see, the ugly stick is bending about the same. And just a heads up, this ugly stick is just like a little, like fairly lighter of an action than the grit sticks. So it's a reasoning behind why it is kind of struggling right now. Now I do have a luge reel on here because I just wanted to put that on instead of the cheap reels that they put on. And that luge reel really does like help the leverage of it and everything. Helps reel them in fast and set the hook better. But yep, so that right there is the ugly stick bend when it has 2 screwdrivers on. So in the next video, tell me if you guys, well, what rod you think won. And now I'm going to go over the different specs of the rods. So basically, wait 1 second, guys, as I undo this. A little tangled here. Alright. So, what's different about this pole right here compared to the grit stick? Oh, and by the way, this combo right here is called the uglystick Elite. I believe that this one right here is a medium action, and this one right here is a medium action too, but as you can see, it's just a little bit thicker. But so we're going to talk about the similarities really quick. So similarities are, we have rod guides are just about in the same exact spot. As you can see, we have a rod guide right there, then one right there, then one right there. So same exact amount of rod guides, I'm pretty sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nope, the grit stick has one less rod guide than the ugly stick, which makes that ugly stick a little bit better with tangle wise, because the more guides you have, the less tangles you get in the line, and it also helps you kind of like set the hook better as well. The tips on them, one of the obvious parts. The tips are just about the same, except the grit sticks is orange, then the ugly sticks is white. And then we have, both of them are a 2-piece breakable rod. So if I wanted to, I could take this rod right here apart, just like that, then put it back on. Same as that thing with the grit sticks. I could take this pole right here apart. Yep, I could take the grit sticks rod apart just like that, and then stick it back together. And yeah, that's another really cool feature. Most cheap rods don't really have that 2-part braking system for like if you're going on a trip like far away and you want to take your rod. It takes up very limited space, barely any space that it needs in order to be fit into your car. Another thing that I noticed is that the label of the rod is like in the same exact spot. And also, if you look at these rod guides, they have like these little streaks by them where like they glue them on. So does the ugly stick. And the handles are not similar. The reels, now this reel right here is not an ugly stick reel, but like I already know because like I've used both of these reels, and this reel right here performs just like an ugly stick gx2 reel that they put on their spinning rods. About the same exact thing, it's just different color and like a little bit different of like I guess you could say like a design, but as far as it goes, they're made from the same exact stuff. They feel like if I were to close my eyes, I could not tell a difference between if it was ugly stick reel or this Ozark trail reel that I was using. And then the reel seat is not really comparable, because this one right here is a front one where you twist it off from the front. This right here, you twist it off from the back. And last thing that is comparable is that both of them have those little streaks down there at the end. They start like right here. Both of them have them, except this one right here is more like a orangey golden streak. This one right here is a red and black streak. So there it is. That is the comparison for these two rods. Now we will go over the specs. Starting first with the grit stick. So the grit stick has a great action for, you know, like kind of like if you don't really want to pull the fish in that fast and you kind of want to fight with them, get the grit stick. The grit stick is great for that. And another thing that's really cool about the grit stick is that there's like this little button right here on the back of the reel. You just push that down, and then the reel can do that. And then if you want to put it back, you can just do that, and it does not go anywhere. It kind of locks in. And so these rod guides right here, They are not really the best rod guides because like I can easily bend them, unlike with my other rods that cost a little bit more money. But I mean that's not really a problem as long as like you take care of it. Because like I mean these rod guides will last you like a while if you just bait the hook and then just cast and not even play around with them. This rod right here also has a foam handle. And oh, one last comparison. Not on this specific uglystick rod, but my other one that I have, it has this little ring on it, except it's a red ring around the handle. And it's located in the same exact spot. So yep, 2-piece rod brake. Very, very good for travel. Does not take up that much room at all. The line that comes on this reel, it is pre-spooled when you buy it. Now I do not really recommend pre-spooled line, but this pre-spooled line seems to be doing alright for me. Usually what I'll do is I'll just take off the pre-spooled line and then put on like some spider wire or some good stuff like that will provide you with some better quality and usually cost a little bit more money. But it'll prevent your nice lures from snapping off when you're casting. So yep, it has some nice rod guides. The only problem is they just are a little bit flimsy, but that's okay. This one right here has 6 rod guides, so very, very good for not getting tangled up around the rod when you have loose slack along the rod and it's trying to tangle up. Those rod guides will not allow it to do that. This rod right here is a carbon fiber rod, and this one right here is known to be unbreakable. Like as you can see, that's like as far as I can bend it, which is a good little bit. I like the size of it. Now this rod right here, it feels pretty comfortable, but I would not really say for like crankbait fishing. Maybe like for like some worm and Texas rigs, and then just some catfishing, like for smaller catfish, not really the big ones. It would be great for that. It's just like, you know, like with your crankbaits, you kind of gotta like jerk them around sometimes. This pole right here is not really like that good for like kind of popping it along the side, because it just like the whole rod kind of like shakes when you do that, and it's just gives you a weird feel. Now, depending on what type of reel, because see this reel right here, I would agree that this reel might be a little bit too big, like just a tad, like about maybe just like a couple inches big. Now maybe like if you were to put on a smaller reel onto this, you would not really have like that popping action when you're going to move your crankbait. Just because like the reel adds weight onto it, which kind of sometimes can give it a weird action. The reel is very, very nice. The drag system is nice. And we will actually compare the drag systems here in a second and see like which drag gives out faster or gives out first. And this pole right here is pretty flexible. Now it's not like too flexible, but I mean it's flexible to the point where like it's obvious that you could tell it's not really meant for like super heavy fishing. This pole right here is a great starter rod, and another cool thing is it does have a metal barrel right here, which is always nice because I mean just about every single spinning reel does have a metal barrel, but every once in a while you'll run into a plastic barrel. And usually those ones come on like the $6 reels off of Amazon and eBay. But luckily, I got a metal one in this rod. So that's nice. Now, if you guys know, you can undo the drag all the way and then take off the spool part and look inside. I've already done that. Both of these reels are fairly similar. The Lew's and this one have similar inner organs, I guess you could say. This rod right here is a 3+1 ball bearing system, so that means 4 ball bearings in this reel. Not that bad. But this luge right here, I believe, has like 5 or 6 ball bearings. I'm not completely sure, but I believe that this luge right here has like 1 or 2 more bearings in this reel. And as you can see, this reel right here does do very, very smooth. I will do a little example here. Couldn't even hear it. And what you could hear was just the weight. So that's very, very convenient, especially like if you're trying to be quiet, like if like you're watching birds or something, and you don't want it to be like super, super loud to where it freaks them out or anything. And also just like you want it to be like nice and peaceful and not have like a because that's just annoying. So yeah, pretty sure that I went over all the specs. It does have a nice reel seat. This one right here has the little plastic cap. You just twist it, and then your reel comes off, just like that. And the cool thing is, this reel seat right here is a longer one. So just about every single spinning reel that's even out there in the fishing industry, you can fit on this pole. But I would not really recommend doing a reel any bigger than this, because it just kind of messes up the action of the pole when you're using it. Now this pole right here does recommend 8 to 15 pound line, but you always know that that's a whole bunch of bull crap when they put it on. You can go a few pounds over. Usually what I do when I buy a rod that says like 8 to 15 pound, I'll go up to like 25 pound test to the max. And I've never ever really had a problem. I guess like if you're using like a cheap reel, that could become a problem, but most of the time I put on a very, very nice reel that will not allow that to happen. It does have a hooking system right here. That's what that little guide right there is for. And so does the uglystick gx2 that is in the same exact spot as on this one. If I could rate this pole right here, I would give it a 9 out of 10. And the reason why is just because it could use a little bit better quality of rod guides. And the pole, that they made this rod too strong, because as you can see, 2 screwdrivers was making that thing bend all the way over like that. And see, that's the issue. Like, if you're going to make the pole that strong, you might as well make it a little bit heavier. Because, see, they only make this pole in one action. But I don't know if like they're going to come out with another action here soon, like within the next couple of years. Like, I mean, they could start making ultralight ones of this and then heavier ones. I'm not really too sure. Pretty sure they do make one other one that's actually used for deep sea fishing. It's like way bigger than this. It's beefier and way nicer. That costs like $40. So I might have to buy that one sooner or later and give that one a comparison to this. See here what the difference is. But yep, so that is all the specs about that rod right there. And yep, so let me just do a little drag test. And by the way, the line capacity on this is like 300 yards. Oh no, 235 yards. And with the pre-spooled line, it comes with some 8-pound line, so that is not bad at all, guys. So right now, we're gonna crank that drag up a little bit. And as you can see, it has a tough drag on the high setting. And like, that's not even the highest setting, like it'll go even higher. So for right now, let's kind of put the drag a little bit into the medium zone. And you know, kind of like give it a little test. Guys, look at that, guys. Oh, there goes the drag. That rod is insane for only 20 bucks, guys. Almost go tip to tip, probably. But I'm not going to do that because I don't want to break it. But sometime in the future, if I get another one or if I find them on sale, I might do that. Just because I would see if it was truly worth $20 or not. So now that we have that, I'm going to go over the specs of this pole right here. So basically, this rod right here, it has better build quality with the guides. This one right here has 7 guides, so this one right here will not really tangle up around the rod. Maybe at the tip of the rod sometimes, if you let slack, but it will not tangle up because of all those nice rod guides keeping the line like straight. Because when you the more rod guides you have on your pole, the better it is with the action and with your line, so that way you don't have line problems. And so this pole right here is a medium action, so the same exact action as that. As you can see, it's pretty good. I mean, it has a little bit of flex. This one right here has a cork handle. And so with the reel, let's just pretend that this right here was an ugly stick reel, because I know what it is. Ugly stick reel, same exact grip. Same as that little shiny butt on it where you unscrew it and then it shows you all the gears. It exposes the gears. Graphite rod, same as that type of rod. That one's also graphite. That's what makes them unbreakable. This one right here has a white tip. That one right there has an orange. What type of line can this rod take? 6 to 14 pound line with a 1.5 through 5/8 ounce lure. And this one right here is a 6'6" medium. This one right here is also a 6'6" medium. So yeah, same exact size actually. I think I just got untangled. Well, I wonder what the heck happened there. Ah, there we go. Alright, I get it now. Alright, so I like the build quality of this one a little bit better. Like I said, cork handle. So action is the same exact size rod. Now, like I said, this pole right here says 6 to 14 pound line. I just go ahead and go with like some about the same as that pound of line that I said for that rod. So somewhere around 25 pounds. Now, to the most, I could probably put on 25 pounds onto this. And then to the least that I'd probably put on this rod if I were to use it like for saltwater would be probably like 18 pound. But if you're just using it for bass, I recommend anything between 8 pound and 16 pound test. Because that right there will catch you some nice bass. Now, the test the line that I usually use for my bass, like when I go bass fishing on my rods, I'll usually use like some 10 to 12 pound line. And on my bait caster, I use 15 pound. Because bait casters are just made for taking heavier line. So, yep. This spinning reel right here would be made of the same exact material. The caps on them that keep the handle intact are about the same. And the cool thing about the grip stick rod is that you can unscrew this handle right here and you can swap it over to that side, so that way you could either have it as a left-handed or a right-handed, which is a nice little feature. You would not think that they would actually add that in with the rod and reel combo only costing $20. This rod right here handles fish very, very well. I've caught tons of bass. I've even caught some catfish on this. Not really big ones, but just some little ones. I believe that I am running like some 14 pound test on this right now. So yeah, and the reel seat on this is a little bit better of a design. But the only issue is the reel seat is meant for smaller reels on this pole, and the rod seat on the grit stick is made for just about every single spinning reel in the fishing industry. Because, I mean, that thing literally goes almost like if I were to use my fingertip, go all the way down to like the palm of my hand. Like, that's about as far as it'll open up for spinning reels. So that is pretty good for just about any type of reel. Like, if there's a reel bigger than that, not really too sure what the heck it would be. It might be a fake reel. So, yep. So this pole right here actually casts like a whole lot nicer, because with the grit stick you kind of have like that little wobble in the cast, like when you're throwing heavy baits. But lighter lures, it'll be just fine. But with the heavier baits, it kind of wobbles around a little bit, like when you make the cast. And that's just because like it's a big weight that's like causing the rod to kind of bend everywhere. Whereas to this pole right here, you cast it, the rod does not have that bending problem. As you can see, when I hit the butt of the rod, it's like a very, very quick action, like for popping lures and frogs. And if I were to throw this, it would not like keep on doing that, and that's kind of what the grit stick does a little bit. It'll like keep on shaking around like until the lure hits the water. This pole right here is a $60 rod. I got this one right here from Sportsman's Warehouse a long time ago, like 2 years ago. Now, which pole do I recommend better? Probably this rod. But like, you know, like, I mean, the only thing about the actual ugly stick and the rip-off ugly stick being the grit sticks by Ozark Trail would just be, like the action, because the action of this pole right here is like way lighter for what it's really meant to be. Because like, I mean, if you're gonna make that strong of a pole, you might as well make it like a heavy action, so that way like it is suitable for everything. And yeah, so that's what I like about the grit stick and the ugly stick. And yep, I only paid $20 to be exact at the Walmart. And yeah, so would I recommend respooling the pre-spooled line that comes on there? If you're going to be doing anything besides bass fishing, then yes, because bottom fishing with that crappy line will not work. I'd go and get you like some spider wire if you're going to be bottom fishing for some catfish or carp. I definitely recommend going and getting like some line that costs like around $10, because that's gonna allow you to catch the fish better and less wear on the line. So that is my full review of the Ozark Trail rod and the Ugly Stick Elite rod. I like them both. I think that they are both very, very good rods, especially if you're on a budget. The Ozark Trail is probably the rod that you're more likely to go with if you're going to be on a tight budget. And yeah, so I think that this rod right here would be great for like some ocean fishing, but like not like deep sea, just like on the beach fishing, surf fishing. I would not really use it for like any other salt water unless like you were going to use it for like some crabbing, like the catch a crab, you kind of reel it in, scoop it up with a net. Be great for that. Yeah, so that rod right there is used for saltwater and freshwater. So is this one. So I appreciate you guys watching. Oh, and another thing is that when you're doing this, so you have the barrel opened up like that, and without you manually putting your hand over to close it, the Lose does it very, very easily. And now we're going to do it on the grit stick. Okay, so we leave it open like that to where the line can freely fall, and boom. That easy. So that's probably going to be another one of my favorite features about the grit sticks, is that it does not, like, you know, on some reels, you have to, like, really apply force on it in order for it to, like, automatically close the barrel, which is kind of a pain in the butt when you're trying to, like, hurry up and land a fish or something. Whereas this rod, you cast it, barely any pushing movement needed, and the barrel on it closes. Very, very convenient. So yep, that is going to be my full comparison for the uglystick and the Ozark Trail grit stick rod. And just a heads up, the uglystick fishing rods do not come pre-spooled. You have to buy line for them, but please, if you are going to get an uglystick with a spinning reel or a bait casting reel, buy good line for it, because those kind of rods are meant to only be used with good line. With cheap line, I mean, there's really no point in buying that strong of a rod if you're just going to use cheap line, because it's really all about the line when you're fishing, because, you know, you want, like, a heavy line so that way you can land those fish nice. And, you know, like, how sometimes that cheap line is, like, when you're about to land the fish, and all of a sudden, like, the line just kind of stretches a little bit, and then bye-bye goes your fish, the line snaps. That's another good thing about the ugly stick, that you get to put on your own line, whereas with this grit stick, you can possibly face running into that issue. So, yep, that will be my full review for the grit stick and ugly stick spinning combos. And I will put the links into these descriptions here like a few hours after I posted this video. So yeah, go and get you guys either the grit stick or the ugly stick. Both very, very good rods and can be found at Walmart. And I do have another rod review coming up, but that is just going to be on itself. It's not going to be comparing. So stay tuned for that. Peace out, and I will see you guys in the next video.